To a lot of people in China, America seemed like the ultimate opponent to the Taliban. Like fire to water, the two simply cannot coexist in the same world, and America seemed determined to wipe it off of the face of the planet. However, news that the Obama administration was going to open up peace talks with the Taliban had many Weibo users wondering if the United States was throwing in the towel. According to the original Weibo post that cites the Washington Post, the Obama administration will start formal peace talks with the Taliban that they hope will lead to a negotiated end to the protracted war in Afghanistan. In a statement read live on television in Doha, a Taliban spokesman said that the military group never wants to pose harm to other countries from its soil and that it was open to talks with other Afghans and the possibility of opening a Taliban political office in Qatar. President Obama called the agreement a very early step. However, the two groups might have very different goals. The U.S. hopes that the Taliban will publicly renounce ties with al-Qaeda and end violence in Afghanistan, recognize the Afghan constitution, grant rights to women, and participate in the democratic process. The Taliban, however, demands the withdrawal of all foreign troops and release all Taliban detainees, some of them currently kept in Guantanamo Bay. And now, what do Chinese Weibo users have to say about the negotiations between the two sides? Let's take a look.
It seems that diplomacy is the only means by which the American government can end the war in Afghanistan. You simply can't bomb nomads into submission, and you can't destroy infrastructure against those who have no need for them. You also can't stop an enemy that embraces death unless you commit genocide. I remember the Americans once said they would never negotiate with the terrorists, but now they are negotiating with them because they can't win the war? It proves again that the Americans are practical and only care about profits. Unlike the Chinese government, they don't care about face. No permanent enemies, only permanent interests. The Americans are very clear about their goals, so in order to fulfill the goal, they would change their tactics. I think Chinese diplomatic officials might learn something from the Americans. This is proof that America simply can't win the war of attrition. I don't think the American failure is a good thing, since after the Americans pull out, I think the Taliban might start making trouble for China. I think the Americans are using negotiation with the Taliban as a last resort, but they will fail. If they couldn't achieve through brute force, they think they can achieve through diplomacy? What if the Taliban refuses? You'll go back to fighting then?
The president of Afghanistan has since suspended negotiations with Washington over a security agreement that will regulate the presence of U.S. troops in Afghanistan beyond 2014. The Taliban has repeatedly rejected negotiations with the Afghan government. However, the statement by the Taliban spokesman includes a vague reference to a willingness to hold meetings with other Afghans.